states, from New York to California, from Illinois to Texas. 32 teams of the country's best collegiate bowlers, all with the same goal, the same dream. To leave here with the men's or women's Intercollegiate Bowling Championship Helmer Cup. Welcome to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're inside River Lanes getting set for the men's and women's finals of the Intercollegiate Bowling Championships. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Schmidt along with Chris Barnes, former PBA Rookie of the Year and former Collegiate Bowler of the Year. Chris, great event, exciting, huge crowds. Look at this. You've bowled this before. Is this the title that everyone in college bowling wants on their resume?
Absolutely, Jan. This tournament embodies everything that is right about our sport. It took 8 months of training and hard work to get here. There's an immense amount of teamwork, intense rivalries, and as you can tell, we have a lot of enthusiasm here. We started with 16 men's teams, 16 women's teams. They bowled a best-of-7 double elimination format to get to these final two on each side. Today, we're going to bowl a best 2-out-of-3 match to determine a national champion.
And on the women's side, we're down to Central Missouri State and Florida State. We'll get to the women later, but on a switch, we're going to go men first this time, and that will be Morehead State and Wichita State. Now, how about Morehead State? It's their first appearance in the final two here.
It is their first appearance in the final two, but you wouldn't know it. They're senior-laden, and they got lots of leadership. But ironically, it's the influx of two freshmen bowling in the 4 and 5 spots that have allowed them to get to this championship match.
Well, how about your alma mater, Wichita State? They really dominated this event in years past.
Well, they have dominated in years past, but it's been 1998 since Wichita State has been in a championship match. So none of these players have been in one before. They do have Junior Team USA and Adult Team USA stars Nathan Bohr and Sean Rash, but it's the other 6 guys that make them deep enough to get back to this national title game.
Well, I told you it's best 2-out-of-3 for this match today, and so when we return, we'll show you some of the highlights from the earlier championship match. Stay with us. For Morehead State, Chris Hester started it off right. Nathan Bohr steps up in the 4th frame with a chance to close the gap to 12 pins. In the 7th frame, Russ Wilson up for Wichita State. They trail by 23. Freshman David O'Sullivan up in the 9th with a chance to put it away for Morehead State.
Watch this kid's hand. Plant. Away.
And there's the result.
A lot of ball going through the pins right there.
Final score, 210 to 130. In Game 2, we pick it up after 5 frames with Morehead State leading by 17. Wichita State starts its comeback with Russ Wilson.
And that right there is exactly what they need.
That's followed by Aaron Cook. What hit that 4-pin?
What a great shot. You'll watch the 2-pin. This goes a little bit high. It cuts the 2-pin sharp. It goes into the wall, spins around, and punches the 4 right from the back. He's hoping for it to hold right here. He knows that's big. They're on the brink of elimination.
Now Morehead State trails by 2. David O'Sullivan's up in the 9th. That leaves Scott Thornton needing a strike to win. But it's not to be as he splits, so it's up to Sean Rash for Wichita State. A mark should win it. Final score, 161 to 155.
We're going to go to a Game 3.
We're ready for the men's championship game of the Intercollegiate Bowling Championships. Wichita State versus Morehead State. It's best 2-out-of-3. They're 1 apiece. This will be the final game. Starting lineup for Wichita State: Russ Wilson, Aaron Cook, Joe Keltner, Nathan Bohr, and Sean Rash. For Morehead State: Chris Hester, Chris Herringer, Brad Nice, David O'Sullivan, and Scott Thornton. And it hasn't been very pretty these last couple of games.
No, but the finish to the last game was unbelievably exciting. You had two great players up there. Both of them had a chance. They left some messes up there. One of them was able to clean them up and advance, and now we have it. One game for the national title.
There's Russ Wilson. The leader, and he gets a big break to open this match.
That's absolutely huge in this game right here. Watch this shot. This is high the whole way. He's going to, the 2 and 3 pin are both going to go to the wall and take out the 4 and the 6.
And it was. What a great way for them to start the match. Here's Chris Hester.
And he really is the leader on this team. He's super smooth, and he really is the best bowler for Morehead, although he bowls first.
Well, for this team, it's their first time here. For both teams, not really a lot of television experience.
No, neither team has really seen anything. Nathan Bohr and Sean Rash have probably bowled overseas and had a limited TV experience, but the first time in any environment like this. Chris Hester, he's an excellent spare shooter. No worries, and he is really the rock on this team. He's part of 3 seniors who will be bowling first, second, and third, and handing it off to 2 freshmen who are either fearless because they have tremendous confidence in themselves, or they just haven't been there enough to know they're supposed to be scared.
And here's Aaron Cook. He's a senior.
He is a senior, but he has a lot less experience than some of the players on Morehead State. But you couldn't tell it there.
How's their carry going so far, though? Great shot, but
this is like the old Dick Weber never wall shot. The headband's going to go to the wall and hit the 4 and 5. And the 6 somehow gets out of the flat gutter to get the 10. Looked like Hulkamania Part 17.
Here's Chris Herringer from Morehead State Eagles. Number 2, and crossing over, leaving the 5-8. Now, they were on this lane, Chris, 2 games ago. Switched last game. Now they're back here again.
They're back, and they seem to like this lane better.
They did.
They shot 210 the first game, which is by far the best game of this championship match. But the end of that last game might have shook them a little bit. I think they felt like they had it in their hands.
Now, Joe Keltner was ready to go up. He had to back off. The rule is the team have to be on even frames. So Chris will have to finish this spare, so both teams will have completed 2 frames before Joe can bowl for Wichita. But they were on a roll, pumped, wanted to keep going.
Yeah, there's a lot of enthusiasm out here. You said you get pumped up, you're not too worried about what the rules are.
So here's Chris and Chris. They talked about the shirts.
Absolutely. They have worn them all week long, and they felt like they were a show of patriotism and a show of support for everything that's going on overseas right now.
And definitely they said a reality check. Put things in perspective.
It did put things in perspective and let them know that, even though this feels like the most important thing on the planet to them right now, it helped ground them a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Joe Keltner working on 2 strikes.
Come on!
This is huge, and it is.
And again, he knew it. He knew it 20 feet down the lane. It was on target. It's amazing to me that somebody on these patterns, and as hard as they are, it has just left his hand, and he knows it. It's still got 30 feet to go.
So Morehead State very, very quickly trailing by 22 pins. Brad Nice needing to get something going here in the 3rd frame.
This came a big shot in a hurry.
And he responded. No 10-pin on this lane. He had a little difficulty with the 10 pins last game.
He did. He left a couple, but really, he's hit the pocket better than anybody on either team. That just sawed the rack. He didn't leave anything, but he had the head pin coming across to clean it all up.
Nathan Bohr now up. They lead by 22 pins. That's Wichita State. He can take it to 32 with a strike here in the 4th. He had some troubles last game with a couple of washouts.
He's had trouble pretty much since they started. It's unusual because he's one of the best players in college.
Oh, and he almost left a 7-10 on that. Very light.
It's a lucky break here. He kind of crumbled everything up, and they gang tackled the 7. Relatively easy spare, though, and I'm sure he won't have any trouble with it.
David O'Sullivan taking a minute before he steps on the approach.
One of 2 freshmen from out east that bowled a lot of JBTs, so they're pretty tournament seasoned, even though this is their first year in collegiate bowling.
Trailed by 21 pins.
He's not afraid to step on it here.
He can take it to 11 with a strike. Needs a big step. Oh, Messenger. Good shot. I thought it was going to come across.
He had it coming across, too, and it takes a lot on these pins to get it coming across like that.
Build up. Good shot.
Running down their spare balls to shoot the both players shooting 10 pins now.
And all the guys on the Wichita State team who are very technically sound. This will be hard and straight, even though it's a very aggressive ball. It won't hook any.
Oh, he just covers it. And David O'Sullivan will go for his spare.
And for my best attempt at a Bo Burton jinx of the day.
I'll see you again.
As he makes that, he says, I'll see you again.
He hopes not. He doesn't want to see it again. He did say that, though.
You would think that if there was a weakness with having 2 freshmen at the bottom, that it might be with spare shooting.
You would
Used
think
to bowl in
so.
a little bit softer conditions, but they've had a full year of bowling on these sport patterns, and both these teams have embraced the idea of bowling on sport conditions.
They have. Feel it's the way to build integrity in the sport. Sean Rash going to Brooklyn, leaving a 10-pin.
All right.
And they both have practiced almost exclusively on sport bowling and bowling sport bowling leagues and tournaments. In fact, Moorhead said they've bowled 10 or 11 tournaments on sport condition this year.
Most of the collegiate tournaments this year are on the sport condition, and all of the qualifying tournaments for this national final were on the sport condition.
Here's Scott Thornton. Going up high, 6-10.
Both guys relatively lucky to leave spares that they can make here. Wasn't the case the first 2 games where everything seemed to turn into a hieroglyph.
Sean covers it up.
Well, Sean's the emotional leader of this team. If he was able to put together a strike right there, he would have really gave him a boost.
Scott Thornton needs to cover both pins here, the 6 and 10, and he does it nicely as we approach the second half of the final game here for the men's national championship. Time to regroup, start again. Wichita is in the lead, and these bowlers are strangers, but Wichita State no stranger. They've won this event 6 times, finished second 5 times, of which you were a part of some of those teams.
Now you had to bring that up.
You were in the second place. Sorry, Chris, but... Russ Wilson now trying to start off their charge here in the second half to hold on to their lead.
And really the difference I've seen between this team right here and even some of the teams I've bowled on is they've been able to let it go. They're not playing scared anymore. And I think they started out a little bit that way. Nobody really wanted to let it go and just give it their best shot and trust what they had.
Great shot.
That's a fantastic. This guy, he is as smooth a left-hander as in the collegiate game right now.
You talked about Wichita State, and head coach Gordon Badigan had told us that this team was very even-tempered, and their key was staying out of trouble, though they hadn't done that well the first 2 games here. They're doing that much better in this final game.
They've been very patient as a group the entire year. Haven't let things get to them too much one way or the other. Kind of cleaned up the messes and went on. It shows up in the final polls of the year. These 2 teams were ranked 1 and 2 in the final coaches poll, and then they flip-flopped and were 2 and 1 in the computer rankings.
So the Moorhead State Eagles down by 20 pins. They can take it to 10. With Chris here, and a big strike that does. They're only down by 10. Big shot.
That is senior leadership right there at his best. Watch this shot here. Crosses 9 at the arrows, and this is just dead high flush. And you think he's excited about it? This is his last shot in collegiate bowling.
That's the way to make it count. Aaron Cook now up in the 7th.
Now, Aaron's also a senior, but he hasn't been around as long as some of these other guys have. Gordon thought he might be the key to spurring them to victory.
What a break. You know, they have had some very good carry this game, and that's what it takes.
Hoo-ah. You watch the shot, and this is centered up on the head pin pretty early on. Everything kind of crumbles. The 2 and the 4 pin are going to get trapped over on the wall. And it's the 2 pin that spins around off the 4 and just lightly taps the 7.
So Brad Nice now up. He struck last time up this game. He needs this strike to make it all even. Big shot, and he gets it. We have a match.
Unbelievable how good he is bowled here. The 3 seniors stepped up, bang, 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 in the 6th, 7th, and 8th frames to keep their hopes alive.
And will the freshmen hold up under the pressure? They've done well so far.
Joe Keltner on one of the biggest stages he's ever performed on. Although he might not be any stranger to the stage.
All even, and he can take the lead to 10 if he strikes here.
Come on!
Tit for tat, Wichita State back in the lead.
This is unbelievable how good these 2 teams have all of a sudden come out of the woodwork and are just letting it all hang out. There's no scared shots in here. They're absolutely showing up in the biggest game any of them have ever bowled.
Well, it'll be David O'Sullivan up next, and he told us earlier, Chris, that only one team could beat us, and it's us. That was this man right here, so we'll see how he responds.
Well, he's got it in his hands right now. They're down by 10. And I guarantee you this, he's going to catch all of this one.
This to bring it all to even for the moment, if he strikes here. Oh, no.
There is one problem when you catch that much of it, is that high rev rate can get up on top of the oil and it can hydroplane down lane. And that's what happened right there. And what I mean by that, in 35-foot mark, instead of it turning over like it did last time, it revved up just like a tire on water, got up on top, skidded an extra 4 feet, and then made a move too late. Cut the 3 pin out, leaving a tough spare.
Well, Nathan Bohr is going to bowl, and they're working on a double right here with the lead. Wichita State, he can take it to 24. He breaks up the 4-9.
Showing his true colors right there. He's been a big-time player on Junior Team USA for several years. He steps up now after struggling the entire match. He gets it in just a little bit. Trips the 4 and the 9. And you're right, Jan, the carry of this game has been absolutely phenomenal for the Wichita State Shockers.
David goes with the spare, throws it hard, but not to be. And that look said it all right there. The best that Morehead State can shoot would be 208.
Sean Rash has to keep it on the lane.
Just has to hit some pins.
I think that qualifies.
I think that was plenty of pins. What a comeback for the Wichita State Shockers. Two weak games to start the match, and boy, did they come back when the heat was on.
Who would have thought after shooting 130 and 160 that they would even have a chance? They really just showed up in this last game.
Scott Thornton finishing it off for Morehead State.
You can see the 2 players talking. They're going to put in Scott Howe. He's a senior. He's been through the program. He's put in lots and lots of time. He has not gotten to throw very many shots this week.
That's great. They want to let him close it out here. Scott Howe, 22 years old.
Came to Wichita all the way from Oregon.
And how's that for coming in cold? Just put it right in the pocket. That's the way to do it.
Wichita State with their first title since 1998.
So Wichita State is the 2003 men's national champion. Still to come, the women's championship match. But first, when we return, the presentation of the men's Helmer Cup. Stay with us. Key shot of the match, Nathan Bohr steps up in the 9th with his team leading by 14 pins.
This shot goes up a little bit high, but it's his best shot of the day and maybe the best shot of his career. The 2-pin into the wall, trips the 4, and this is what it looks like when you throw a shot to win a national title.
Final score 245 to 187 in the final game of the championships here. Wichita State Shockers are the winners for the men. They're embracing the Helmer Cup. That's in honor of the late Kerm Helmer, the longtime Erie Community College coach who passed away last October. What an honor for him. He was a great contributor to college sports, and we'll be thrilled to see what's going on here today. Congratulations to the Wichita State Shockers. And there's more action to come. We'll be right back with the women's finals of the Intercollegiate Bowling Championships. Stay with us.